now I will go to his thrice blessed memory, Bishop Kallistos Ware, because
Amen.
yeah, I would like to describe for us what was his effect on endogenous orthodoxy in Great Britain, particularly. Of course, he has a worldwide effect on orthodoxy. Like in Syria, he is very respected. His book Orthodox Way was influential to many people. You know what I mean? In the
It's a
Orthodox
wonderful summary.
way.
And
But
then
I would.
another little book, How Are We Saved? Which is just really one, like the 100 chapters in Ascetic Fathers. It's just one line guides to salvation in the Orthodox Church. Very effective.
Yeah, for this reason, I would like you to describe for us the impact of Bishop Kallistos Ware on the spreading of Orthodoxy in England.
Certainly. I knew him personally because he was the chairman of the board on which I sat of Orthodox Christian Books. I was the company secretary, he was the chairman, and Nicholas Chapman, who's a friend of mine, a lot of people have heard of in America, his various travels for service of the truth, of the Orthodox Christian truth. And we all sat on this committee, and we saw at first hand the kind of man that Metropolitan Kallistos was. And he brought joy to everyone whom he met. He was such a lovable person, very erudite, very knowledgeable, a patristic scholar, involved in ecumenical relations, of course, with the Roman Catholic Church, various inter-church dialogues that he participated in. An Englishman, and I think that has to be stressed because he had a very old world English cultural heritage. He also had the most winsome, deep Oxford voice, which I won't attempt to copy, but which I am doing, of course. You can see it in all his videos, and that richness in his voice alone was very attractive. I'm saying things that are very subjective because, you know, his impact on the church wasn't simply in terms of what he wrote, wonderful though that was. It was the person that he was. And, you know, he had a large heart. You know, he recognized in Lewis, for example, C.S. Lewis, a man after his own heart, you know, who has written so capably in the Christian West about things that many Orthodox would share, perhaps not everything, but perhaps a man before his time, Lewis. And Bishop Kallistos recognized this in him. And he told us that when Lewis was buried in Oxford, he that is Bishop Kallistos, said Orthodox prayers, the Chasagion prayers and other prayers over his grave. He was a man who I shared my time with and got to know on the now defunct theological committee serving the Assembly of Bishops in the British Isles and Ireland. Sadly, that structure has fallen away in the Assembly of Bishops, largely because of the problems between two patriarchates, let the reader understand. And on that theological committee on which I served, again, he was a joy to everyone, and he had this wonderful ability to get the best out of everyone. I was even on the same board, I was secretary to that as well, of the Institute for Orthodox Christian Studies in Cambridge. Again, the same impact. I mean, if ever is a man, a teacher, who is worthy of the title of saint in our age, it is this man.
Wonderful. I hope the Greek or the Constantinople Patriarchate would consider that. You know, I hope that. In fact, that brings to me the question of charisma in Orthodoxy. Yeah, like do you feel that charisma was was impactful on many British or not?
Of Kallistos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I mean, he often came to. We had a gentleman who organised lectures, Ware in Manchester University, because our parish is, excuse me, very close to the university. And Bishop Kallistos would often come and speak to those. And in that kind of environment, his charisma, his sanctified persona, for want of a better phrase, was just radiant. And you know, he had wonderful communication skills, wonderful gifts of communication. And when he was talking, you were always aware that he was talking to you, not just to everyone, talking to you. And he peppered, as many will see in his videos, which are still online, he peppered a lot of his talks with such wonderful, gentle humor. And indeed, in one of the meetings of Orthodox Christian books, I remember, in Oxford, in his flat, he said, welcome, everybody. I want to show you something very precious to me, something that has given me enormous delight over many weeks. It's newly bought by me. I just want to show it you. So I think, oh, what is this sort of thing? So he takes this clockwork mouse and he winds it up, and he sets it on this piano. He had a grand piano, shot, of course, and this little clockwork mouse went round and round and round. You know, I think it squeaked or did something. You know, he said, "There, isn't it wonderful?" And now to business.
Yeah, it is.
Forgive my impersonation, but isn't that the mark of a saint? Not a holy
I agree
fool,
with you. That simplicity,
holy,
that spontaneity.
yeah. And someone once said that he who has not learned to be joyful and to enjoy humor in the presence of the Lord has bad faith.
I agree
You know,
with you.
if we labor under an idea of God, and this it is an idea, which is a bad faith idea, of the one before whom one cannot laugh. I mean, in Lewis's understanding of joy, you know, that deep-seated lightness of spirit that finds joy in creation, joy in human relationships, then that's a very sad state not to have that. To see someone, you know, exemplified in him who has it in bucket loads, on steroids, you know, it makes you think, wow, this is the part of the gospel to transform human life. This is standing in front of me.
That is wonderful. That is, yeah, you know, memory eternal.
Indeed.
And yeah.
The Son
Now
of
I will
God
go